covering recruiting and the transfer portal for the Razorbacks. This is Inside Arkansas Recruiting with Dudley Dawson.
Welcome to the second episode of Inside Arkansas Recruiting with Dudley Dawson, sponsored by GoatLab Brewery. We're excited about this weekend. Obviously, an Arkansas State game in Little Rock is the headliner, but also got some great high school action around the state involving some players that are future Razorbacks, have pledged to the future Razorbacks, and one of those games is Conway at Bentonville. Two of the best coached and most successful programs in the state that have been for the past decade or more even. And we're going to visit with Jody Grant, head coach at Bentonville, here in just a minute. He had the pleasure of coaching current Arkansas wide receiver C.J. Brown, who had a big game this weekend, and also has a couple of recruits that will be at Arkansas next season. And then also he's going up against a Conway team that has Tay Lockett, a young man who was in San Diego, transferred to Conway, is also a future Razorback, has some family here in Arkansas, and that's the reason that I think he's ended up here. We're going to bring in Coach Grant right now. Hey, Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I appreciate you taking a few minutes. I know it's a big weekend for you. Just how's practice going this week, and how you feeling about the matchup?
Yeah, we've had good few days of practice, and our preparation has been good. This is a matchup I'm excited about. I think anytime you're playing a team that's so well coached and just a really good program, we played Conway twice last year. We split with them. We've played them in the non-conference for probably, I feel like it's the last 10 or 15 years. I like the matchup because I know that our kids are going to see a very well-coached, well-disciplined team, and that prepares you for conference play. So this Conway team's no different. They're very disciplined, well-coached, very athletic, do a lot of really good things, and so it should shape up to be a really nice matchup.
We talked about the Arkansas State matchup being in Little Rock this weekend at World Memorial. That's a place that you often end your season. I'm sure that's the case. You want to again this year. Just talk about what it's going to take to get back there again this season.
Yeah, well, Class 7A, it's tough. Like it's just each and every week you're playing, good programs that are well coached and really high level athletes, and so to finish your season in War Memorial Stadium is a really a big deal. Now, obviously, you want to leave with the trophy that doesn't have a runner up on it, and we talk about that a lot. We like to win and be getting sized up for state championship rings, and that's a process, and you got to have a lot of things go your way. You got to play really good football at the right time, and you got to have some luck go your way, but ultimately you got to stay healthy. You got to have all your guys stay healthy, and that's a big part of it. And for us this year, we got to make sure we're playing really good football at the right time and stay healthy, and just do what we've been doing. Our formula, has been pretty successful. We're going to continue with the formula that we, play a tough non-conference, put our kids in situations that when they get these situations in conference play, they've been there and done that. And, it's hopefully that works for us as we progress through conference play and into the playoffs.
One of the young men that had the opportunity to do that was C.J. Brown, one of the talented former players. Big weekend for him this past weekend, a couple of touchdown passes and receptions, and really, kind of showed his talent after a freshman season where he had his moments. But just talk about him a little bit, and also, got to mention that his father passed away right before the season. Team really rallied around him, and so that was good to see. Just talk about how he was in your program and how proud you are of seeing him shine on the college level now.
Yeah, CJ, I'm very proud of him and all that he's gone through, especially here in the last couple of weeks with the passing of his father. He that's tough to going through fall camp, competing for a spot, and then find out the news that of your father's passing, and how he handled that was just so mature. I attended the funeral, and to see a 19-year-old kid get up there at his own father's funeral and speak like he did and do what he did shows his maturity. And I'm proud of I'm proud of his work ethic and what he's done and how he represents Bentonville football. But, just the ownership he's taken now is just being one of the leaders of his family. And he's playing for his dad. And, I talked to him a lot going up to, leading up to that week, and even got a chance to visit with him right before they warmed up the other day. And I told a lot of people, I was like, he's going to go off today. I know he will, and you could see it in his eyes. I could just see it, and he just needed some opportunities. And what a neat thing for him to get to score 2 touchdowns, in the first game, since his dad's passing. But what people don't know about CJ is that young man will work. He knows the game. He's smart. This is important to him. And now that he's earned him a spot, I'd be surprised if he doesn't have a real big year for Arkansas this year.
Having the opportunity to cover Arkansas high school football and certainly your team and in 7-on-7 play and some other things, you could tell he was going to be really good, early on. When did you see maybe the specialness that was there with him?
Well, I knew when he was a freshman. We played him at running back as a freshman, and he was just explosive and did some things. We made the move to receiver. He was a little bit reluctant at first, but I just told him I felt like that's where his future was, and it didn't take long for him to realize that once he started doing the 7-on-7 stuff, and that he was really good at that position as well. As a sophomore, we started him and played him a lot. He made a lot of plays for us. Probably his junior year, he became a very dominant player, probably one of the top players in the state. And then his senior year, he was, catching multiple balls for hundreds of yards in a game and multiple touchdowns. And that's when I think it clicked with him, is like, I'm really talented in this sport and in this position. And he became the player, we told him he could be in more of a dominant fashion. And so he, in a high school, he was as good as a high school receiver as the state's had. There's a lot of big good ones, but he's up there ranked amongst some of the best.
He had the opportunity to go to a lot of different places, and one of the things I wanted to discuss with you, and having been an Arkansas native all my life, sometimes you're too close to Fayetteville at times to kind of get an idea of what things are going on. Obviously, he had a different opportunities. Talk about that dynamic. There's some kids who want to be at Arkansas. There's others who want to get away. Talk about that dynamic that you've seen over the years, that it makes it a tough decision for them sometimes.
Yeah, you're right. I think, I've had a lot of talented receivers over the years. We had the year or two before that, we had Chaz Nimrod that ended up, committing and signing at the University of Tennessee, and now he's at South Florida. But for CJ, being a Razorback was important to him. He grew up watching and the game day visits, his 10th and 11th grade years, and his experiences, in the recruiting process. And I think really Coach Petrino was a big factor for him to come play at Arkansas. A lot of those things were important. He wanted to be close to his family. He wanted to be close to the people that he's connected to, in Bentonville. And, his mom's very involved and works at their church here in Rogers. And he wanted his dad to be around for games and practices and to be close. And, his sister, CJ's sister, is at Vanderbilt playing basketball. And but he still had his little sister. She's a senior in high school here at Bentonville, and I think that was important to him. He's a family guy, which is comes from his dad, what he learned from his dad, and he's and I think now that his dad's passed, I think it was obviously the right decision. But CJ did have the opportunity to go to a lot of really great programs, but just wanted to be at home, wanted to stay close, and wanted to help the Razorbacks, as they progress under the Coach Pittman era, and just continue to get better. And we talked about his chances of playing early there, and that was important, and that's playing out for him. So I think it's the right decision. I think he really loves it there. He's close with a lot of the players, but he's still able to be close with some of his, friends from Bentonville, and it's been nice for him.
Talking about really good wide receivers, it's a perfect segue. You have a couple of really good ones, and maybe even more than that, but you have two that are committed to Arkansas. I know you had a young man catch 2 passes, touchdown passes last weekend as well, to kind of show the depth of that group there. Talk about those guys that you have now, and obviously one moved in. I think one's been around a while. Talk a little bit about those two guys and what Arkansas fans will see from them this year.
Yeah, so it's fun to call plays when you have 2 Arkansas commits at wide receiver. So Blair Irvin III, he committed this summer, had a lot of other opportunities, but same kind of thing. Kind of want to stay close to home. His mom lives up here, and he's connected to a lot of people in this area, and he thinks it's a good fit. I think CJ being at Arkansas was appealing to him too, because CJ kind of mentored him his senior year when Blair was a sophomore. He's talented. He's a pure route runner. He's got great hands. Real shifty with the ball in his hands. Can take the top off and go get a ball. I see him as a slot. We play him a little bit everywhere, but we play him in the slot. Can run the fly sweep. His quickness to me is his strength. He's got really good hands. You don't see many drops out of him. Works hard. A good practice player. Really put on some good weight this offseason. I think he's 185 pounds right now, give or take a few. Looks the part. Daquan Prevost moved in here from Liberty Isle, Texas. He's a very gifted, special kid. I love this kid. He's, he's very selfless. A guy that moves into a new community, you hope he's accepted. You hope he likes the program. And this guy, within about 24, 48 hours, was already hanging out with our players and at their houses and was embraced by the community. He and his mom have been embraced by the community. It's been really neat to watch. He is really working hard and getting in the playbook and learning. It's hard to go from one offense to another offense. Our offense is fairly complex and different than what he's used to. He's learning the value of understanding route concepts, that if you have a clear out, if your route clears out to safety, so an over from the other side can come over. He's understanding that you've got to run that route with the the intentions of clearing out the safety. Some of these guys don't always understand that. If they look and they're like, well, if I'm not getting the ball, I'm going to slow down on my route. And so he's learning concepts. We've got a really good wide receiver coach and OC that's going to be that was a big part of CJ's development, that's really taken it upon to help these two young men. His footwork, Prevost's footwork is really good. He catches the ball really well. He's got a second gear that's different than everybody else. He's going to be fun to watch. He could be really big in the return game for us, obviously for the Razorbacks. Both these young men can come in and make an impact early, depending on the receiving room. We're fortunate to have, we've got another young man who's, uncommitted this time, named Conrad Schmitz, that caught a couple touchdowns last week versus a very good Tulsa Union team. So we're really blessed to have a pretty deep receiver room. So, these guys, it gives them opportunity to, we try to distribute the ball and not where teams can't just, double team Blair or double team Prevost or whatever. They better, contend with all of them. So it's been good. Obviously, we just played a scrimmage in one game. We're hoping to, kind of get our offense going each and every week, get more touches and more opportunities. It's my job to make sure these guys are getting touches, because we'd be crazy not to get them touches because of how dangerous they are with the ball. But, the Razorbacks are getting really two quality players. But most importantly, I think what Razorback fans will be excited about is they're great kids. I mean, they're really good kids, respectful, coachable, great work ethic, and will be great for our community.
Just a couple quick comments on last week and this week before we let you go. I'm sure appreciate it. Obviously you facing good competition earlier in the season. Went to Tulsa Union, won 28-14. As we said, you've got Conway this week. Not only do they have a lot of great football players and a tremendous coach in Buck James, but they had a move in as well in Tay Lockett. Talk about what you've seen from him and them in general.
Yeah, well, Conway as a whole is Buck James. He's he'll go down as one of the best coaches in the state with all he's done in his time at Bryan and even before that, and what he's doing at Conway. And but yeah, the Lockett kid is a talented kid. Looks like he's going to return some punts and kickoffs for them. They're moving around a little bit, seeming at safety some, and I'm sure he'll be matched up with some of some of his former teammates, future teammates. But he's talented. You can tell he closes really good, tackles well. Ball skills look to be good. I'm basing this really just off what I've seen from his film from last week. But yeah, he looks the part. I think it's going to be fun. Our kids are excited about, competing against him. I'm sure he's excited about competing against our guys that are his future teammates. So I'm impressed with all three of these guys that are going to be Hogs next year. So a little taste for Razorback fans. There'll be a little taste of the future, and I'm going to have a great seat for it.
Coach, we appreciate very much you joining us, and we'll talk to you as the season goes along.
All right. Thanks a lot for having me on. I appreciate it.
Well, we're excited about getting this podcast going, and certainly thanks to the guys at Inside Arkansas, including John Neighbors, that has really got this thing going. We're also proud to have GoatLab uh, Brewery. GoatLab Red Brewery is our main sponsor. Bill Adams is a good friend, but more than that, he's a great businessman and has a couple of great things going there, along with the Grove Comedy Club, which I've been known uh, to visit once or twice. As we said, he's got the new GoatLab Red opening. It's on Oak Plaza on North Garland. For the old heads like me, we always say it's where Mr. Burger where it was. Uh, R.I.P. Mr. Burger. But he's got a great little thing going there. He's got a lot of GoatLab brews like Razorback, Tusk, and Tusk Light, which by the way is my favorite. Need to get by there and grab one of their signature burgers, and then he's got a great thing going there Sundays now for the post game when you're in town. All you can eat pancakes and two choice of GoatLab brews or two mimosas. That's what the beautiful wife Petra, I'm sure, will be having. And all that's just for $16. Obviously, both places, Lowell and Fayetteville, this weekend will have the Razorback game, and you'll be able to watch that. The one with Arkansas State, which is something that I think a lot of people who grew up in the northeast part of the state, like myself in Newport, are excited it's happening. I know there's some that are not, but it's really going to be something, I think, and happening at a place at War Memorial Stadium. It's been really good, and so stop by GoatLab or GoatLab Red and enjoy watching the game and in a historical game, and also be able to have some good food and some good drinks. Wanted to end this recording or this episode with little thoughts on Little Rock. As I said, I grew up in Newport, Arkansas. It was much easier to get to the Little Rock games back then. That's why they had 3/4 games down there instead of having them up here. Had the opportunity this week to talk to some people around the situation. Mike Beebe, who be the former governor of the Arkansas, and obviously he's a former Newport alum as well, good friend. Dean Lee, who was excuse me, Dean Lee, who was the athletic director at Arkansas State from 2002 to 2012, and was in the Razorback Foundation as the vice president from 1988 to 2005. Also there at Oklahoma State, which kind of gave him, a different perspective when they are always playing at Tulsa and ORU and those teams. Something that obviously Coach Broyles didn't want to do. He thought it would divide the state. But looking back on this, and this is a recruiting podcast. One of the things that has always been mentioned, about moving the games up here is it costs you recruiting visits. You could not bring the kids in for free and give them tickets. In Little Rock, they had to buy their own tickets. But when we look back on it, obviously it is much closer to various parts of the state. And Arkansas was able to use Memorial Stadium to get those kids in there, even if they had to buy their own tickets. And that wasn't always the case. Good recruit down there. It's just a different situation now. Looking forward to obviously seeing the game this weekend. It'll give the Arkansas fans an opportunity, as we said, those who are nearby to get there. And even though they have made, as Governor Beebe said, even though they've made a lot of adjustments to the roads and getting up here, still is a lot closer for some kids. I'm really anxious to see what happens not only in this game but after this game. A lot of speculation that this will be the last game in Little Rock for Arkansas. People above my pay grade make that decision. I can see benefits for continuing to play down there, and I can also see the reasons for having all the home games up here. And the main reason being that you can make a lot more money in a game up here. That is, if you're winning and getting the stadium full, than you can at Little Rock. So we'll see how that plays itself out. As I said, I'm looking a lot forward to watching these guys, these two teams go against each other and seeing what the future holds. So Arkansas State is at a very good program. Butch Jones doing a really good job there. And so I look forward to this weekend's game. And also we'll join John and his cohorts a little later on Friday to talk about the guys who are going to be in Little Rock to take a look and just what could come out of the weekend. Again, want us to thank Bentonville head coach Jody Grant for stopping in on the show, and GoatLab Brewery, GoatLab Red, our sponsor, who really does, as we said, it did a great job. But we appreciate them sponsoring the show. But they've it's a great couple of places to go, as is the Grove Comedy Club. So thanks to all that, and look forward to the weekend. It's going to be a historic one. I want to thank you for joining us on the Inside Arkansas Recruiting show with Dudley Dawson. Certainly enjoyed having Jody Grant on and talking about Little Rock this weekend. Please subscribe to Inside Arkansas YouTube channel and all of our other shows that cover Arkansas sports. Look forward to doing it again down the line, and thank you for joining us.